freezing mud of Germania squelches between your bare toes. You are shivering, stripped of everything that made you a civilian. A harsh, hot breath hits the back of your neck. Before you can turn, a heavy wooden staff cracks across your shoulder blades. You drop to your knees, gasping for air. A towering veteran roars into your face, his breath smelling of sour wine and stale garlic. "Stand up, worm! Rome doesn't recruit men, it builds them!" You pull yourself up, your muscles screaming. This is day one. You are a Tiro, the lowest form of life in the Roman Empire. Your survival rate? Less than 50%.
The sun hasn't even broken the horizon, but you've been running for 3 hours. On your back is a 60-pound pack containing a leather tent, rations of sour wheat, a cooking pot, and entrenching tools. Your shoulders are raw and bleeding where the thick leather straps dig into your flesh. If you slow down, the Optio, the sergeant, uses his vine cane to beat you into submission. Your day doesn't end after the march. You are handed a rudis, a heavy wooden training sword that weighs twice as much as a real iron gladius. In front of you is a 6-foot wooden post. "Thrust! Don't slash!" the instructor screams. You plunge the heavy wood into the post over and over until your hands blister, burst, and bleed. You learn to eat sand, sleep on rocks, and obey without a single thought. You are losing your identity. You are becoming a weapon.
3 years pass. The wooden sword is gone. Now you wear 30 pounds of lorica segmentata, iron plate armor overlapping across your chest. In your right hand is the pilum, a heavy javelin designed to pierce enemy shields. In your left, the heavy rectangular scutum. You are no longer a recruit. You are a milus, a Roman legionary. You are standing in a massive line, 5,000 men wide, deep in the dark forests of Gaul. The silence is deafening. All you can hear is the rhythmic thumping of your own heart against your ribcage, and a fly buzzing around your helmet visor. Then, the forest screams. Thousands of barbarian warriors, painted in blue woad, charge out of the tree line. They are giants, wielding massive broadswords, howling like wolves. Your knees shake. Your instincts tell you to turn and run. But you look to your left and right. You see the men you've bled with for 3 years. If you run, the line breaks. If the line breaks, everyone dies.
"Pila!" the Centurion bellows. You pull your arm back and hurl your javelin into the oncoming mass. It tears through a barbarian shield, bending upon impact so he cannot throw it back. "Scoot him up!" You slam your shoulder against the back of your massive shield, locking it with the shields of the men beside you. A wall of iron and wood. A split second later, the barbarian horde slams into you like a tidal wave. The impact rattles your teeth. The smell of sweat, blood, and unwashed bodies fills your nose. Through the tiny gap in your shield wall, you see a furious face. You don't swing wildly. You do exactly what you were trained to do. You step forward, drive the heavy bottom of your shield into his knee to unbalance him, and thrust your short gladius straight into his exposed abdomen. A quick, brutal twist. He collapses. You step over his body, close the gap, and prepare for the next one. This is not a heroic duel. This is a meat grinder. And you are the machine.
10 years of survival earn you a promotion. You are now an Optio, the second in command of a century of 80 men. To signify your status, a long wooden staff with a silver sphere at the top is placed in your hand. You wear a plume on your helmet, running from front to back. Your position in battle shifts. You no longer stand at the front of the line, taking the initial blow. Your place is at the absolute rear. Why? Because you are the anchor. It is the Battle of the Danube. The campaign has been brutal, and the men are starving, frostbitten, and exhausted. A massive horde of horse archers circles your formation, raining arrows down like a black cloud. A young legionary next to you catches an arrow in the throat. He chokes on his own blood and falls. The line starts to waver. Two men in the third rank step backward, their eyes wide with blind panic. They are looking for an escape.
You step forward, your face cold and expressionless. You raise your heavy, silver-topped staff and smash it directly into the chest of the retreating soldier, throwing him back into the formation.
Back into the line, soldier! You die by the enemy's blade, or you die by mine! Choose now!
The panic in his eyes vanishes, replaced by a deeper, colder fear of you. He picks up his shield and locks it back into place. You stand at the rear, shouting commands, organizing the rotation of tired men to the back, and replacing them with fresh troops from the center. You realize that keeping men from running is harder than fighting the enemy yourself. You are the glue holding the Empire together.
20 years. Most of the men you joined with are buried in unmarked graves across 3 continents. But you survived. You are now a Centurion. You wear a transverse crest across your helmet, visible to everyone on the battlefield. Your armor is covered in filari, shiny silver and gold military medals forged from the melted down treasures of conquered kings. You hold the power of life and death over 80 men. You don't just enforce orders, you give them. But with absolute power comes absolute accountability. When the battle begins, you do not sit at the back like the Optio, nor do you hide behind a massive shield wall. You stand at the absolute right-hand corner of the front rank, the most exposed, dangerous position on the entire battlefield. You must be the bravest man in the army, or your men will not follow you.
You are besieging a massive hilltop fortress in Judea. The heat is suffocating. The sun beats down on your iron armor like an oven. For months, your men have dug trenches and built massive wooden siege towers under a constant rain of burning oil and heavy stones. The horn blows. The tower doors drop. You are the first one out onto the enemy walls. A spear lunges toward your throat. You parry it with your bronze greaves, slash the throat of the defender, and scream at the top of your lungs, "For Rome! Follow me!" Your men swarm over the walls behind you like angry hornets. They fight with fanatical fury because they see their legendary commander bleeding and killing in the thick of it. You break the enemy's defense, open the main gates from the inside, and watch as the city falls. That night, you sit in your tent, washing your wounds with vinegar. You look at your map. You have given your youth, your health, and your humanity to Rome. But you are a king among men.
You are no longer a common soldier. You are the Legatus Legionis, the general of the entire legion. 5,000 heavily armed, highly disciplined killers await your absolute command. You wear a flowing purple cloak over a beautifully sculpted, muscular bronze breastplate. A golden signet ring rests on your finger. You no longer smell of blood, sweat, and cheap vinegar. You smell of expensive oils, roasted meats, and fine Mediterranean wine. You sit on a magnificent white warhorse on top of a hill, looking down at a valley where 2 worlds are about to clash. Beneath you, your legion moves like a single, massive, iron-scaled beast. With a single wave of your hand, 5,000 men live or die. You don't look at them as individual humans anymore. They are pieces on a chessboard. You send a cohort to hold a collapsing left flank, knowing full well that none of those 500 men will survive the hour. But their sacrifice will win you the day.
The battle ends. The valley is silent, covered in a carpet of thousands of dead enemies and loyal soldiers. Your tribunes ride up to you, bowing their heads in deep reverence. The victory is yours, Legatus.
The Senate will grant you a triumph in Rome. They will call you a god. You look out over the smoking ruins of the battlefield. You started 25 years ago as a terrified boy crying in the cold mud of Germania, getting beaten by a wooden stick. Now, you have conquered nations. Emperors fear your influence. Millions know your name. But as you look at your aging, battle-scarred hands holding the golden reins of your horse, you realize a dark truth. The boy who felt fear, pity, and love died a long time ago in those mud trenches. Rome didn't just build you into a master of war. It stripped away your soul to do it.